Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Honey?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I pulled out, I didn't realize until you said something last week about sending us selections. Like I have a book that says level 5 and level 6, I think.
Uh-huh.
So I pulled out like an article called Weighing In.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it probably had, I don't know, 6 to 8 small paragraphs.
Right.
So I started doing the Story Star with my son on that today. And that I think I needed the textbook note takers, so I took that out.
Uh-huh.
And there weren't, I don't know, it was kind of hard to pick out the subtopics.
Yes.
Because they were very short little paragraphs.
Exactly,
so it was
exactly.
one article.
So with that, instead, what I would do is use the, I have to think for a minute. Let me grab that book. Everything's up on the shelf today. Okay, because of the nature of those selections, you could use this one here, which is right before the Story Star, and that gives you 5 different parts. And then there's another one that you can use, and I'm trying to think. Hang on. We do have cause and effect. We have the 5W organizer, so you could use that if there was a who, what, when, where, how, and why. Oh, here it is. This one here is going to really lend itself to that selection, and this is on page 35. It's the 5-paragraph essay and research paper writer, because that particular selection is written more similar to the way an essay is. And so you're going to, for each paragraph you'll pull out a main idea and you'll pull out a couple of details. Pull out a main idea and then some details, and a main idea and then details. That'll be much easier than subtopic and what is the highlighted, word, because you don't have a, and you're not really defining anything in that. But you do have details in that. So does that make sense?
Gotcha. Yes, I can see that. So would you say all the reading selections in level 6 would go on to that 5-paragraph paper writer form?
Very possibly, very possibly. That's going to be much easier.
Okay,
The older they
get,
you're going to be starting to get a little bit more sophisticated. So, and of course, those are almost like essays, and so you kind of have an introductory paragraph that's letting you know what all we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So the only time that I would not use that is if it's a straight narrative. If it's a straight narrative, then I'm going to go over to page 15 and use this one, because that's, for the 5-part narrative. And if it's a really long narrative, you can always use 2 sheets. But most of those selections are relatively short. And now they're not going to do the questions on the day that they are reading it. They are reading and taking notes. They don't do the questions till a couple days later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then after they...
I kind of told them that too. I said,
yeah,
we have to make sure we really understand.
Yeah, because it's really easy to do the questions immediately and get them right. It's like, well, I want to know, can you remember the information? Now, it's okay to review your notes before you do the questions. And you'll get where on the day that you're, reviewing your notes that actually I do say, now I want you to use those notes and turn them into a summary paragraph, which again is a study technique. Because when you are transforming the information that you have read to begin with into notes that are in your own words, you are cementing in that information that you have read. And then when you take those notes and put them into a summary paragraph, you are really getting that skill and those connections in your brain in a very solid way. And so then instead of a very thin connection going, you've got, some of these really big, wide connections because you've been utilizing the information in multiple ways. So we want to have those, really strong connections. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know, and so like I say, so then, you know, right after that, then you do the questions, and it's like, oh, I've got it. I know it. And when you do this over and over and over again, it's going to really help the kids to retain their information.